Let us begin by stepping back and examining the very foundation of human biology and our evolutionary relationship with sweetness, long before we arrive at the sweltering heat of a late Saturday afternoon. For millions of years, our hominid ancestors roamed the unforgiving savannas and dense forests, constantly teetering on the edge of starvation, where finding a source of dense caloric energy was quite literally the difference between survival and death. Evolution hardwired our brains to actively seek out and relentlessly crave sugar, rewarding us with massive, euphoric floods of dopamine whenever we stumbled upon a rare patch of ripe fruit or a hidden honeycomb. Fast forward to the modern era, where this ancient, desperate biological survival mechanism has been hijacked by industrial food production, creating a world where that same rare energy source is now artificially concentrated, liquefied, and sold on every street corner. And so, you find yourself walking down a blindingly bright concrete sidewalk on a day where the oppressive summer heat is radiating off the pavement, creating shimmering mirages that distort the cars passing by. The air is thick, humid, and heavy, draining every last drop of moisture and energy from your pores, leaving you desperately craving immediate relief. You push open the heavy glass doors of a roadside fast food joint, instantly hit by the blast of artificial air conditioning and the overwhelming scent of fried oil and salt. You walk up to the counter and order a massive, oversized meal, but the only thing you truly care about is the giant 32-ounce cup of ice-cold, highly carbonated soda. You grab the sweating plastic cup, feeling the freezing condensation pooling around your fingertips and dripping down your wrist, providing a tiny, teasing preview of the relief to come. You press the plastic straw to your lips and pull a long, desperate, deep sip, feeling the freezing, sweet, bubbly liquid rush over your tongue, instantly lighting up the pleasure centers in your brain like a fireworks display, sending a cascade of artificial satisfaction down your spinal cord that makes all the exhaustion of the day vanish in a single second. You swallow, and the liquid travels down your esophagus, dropping into your stomach before rapidly emptying into your small intestine, where the highly concentrated solution of high fructose corn syrup, a chemically engineered sweetener designed to bypass normal digestive limits, begins to rapidly absorb directly into your bloodstream. According to the foundational laws of physics, thermodynamics, and chemistry that have governed the universe since the cooling of the first stars, sugar dissolves perfectly and seamlessly in warm water. Your human body is essentially a highly complex biological machine filled with salt water, with your blood constantly and meticulously maintained at a perfect, unwavering 37 degrees Celsius by your hypothalamus. This hot, flowing river of blood acts as an incredible biological solvent, gently embracing millions of microscopic sugar molecules, keeping them separated and dissolved as it transports them at high speeds across tens of thousands of miles of complex, branching vascular networks to feed every single hungry cell from the neurons in your cortex to the muscle fibers in your toes. But nature is not an infallible machine, and the fundamental laws of quantum physics and molecular geometry are far more fragile than we could ever possibly comprehend. What would happen if, right in this exact mundane second, a microscopic, undetectable quantum anomaly ripped through the fabric of our local spacetime and completely altered the crystallization laws of all complex carbohydrates on Earth? What if the freezing point of sugar no longer required the extreme heat of boiling reduction to form candy, nor the extreme cold of a freezer, but was suddenly, inexplicably reprogrammed by the universe to react directly and aggressively to the exact 37-degree core body heat of a living mammal? The apocalypse does not announce itself with wailing air raid sirens, blinding nuclear flashes, or falling asteroids. It begins entirely in silence, deep inside the microscopic darkness of your own veins. Exactly 15 minutes and 30 seconds after you take that first refreshing sip of soda, the massive, concentrated tidal wave of processed fructose freely floods into your hot, circulating bloodstream. The very microsecond those dissolved sugar molecules hit the 37-degree threshold of your core temperature, instead of obediently remaining in their liquid state as they have done for all of human history, they suddenly stop, acting as if they have hit a solid brick wall. They violently bind to one another, aggressively snatching adjacent molecules, rearranging their their atomic lattice structures in the blink of an eye and freezing completely solid. They crystallize. From harmless, invisible particles, they instantly transform into solid, completely transparent geometric crystal structures, acting exactly like jagged shards of shattered rock candy. The very first physical sensation that hits you is not an immediate agony, but rather a bizarre, creeping, cold numbness running down the forearm of the hand still holding the plastic soda cup. It feels exactly as though tens of thousands of tiny, freezing mechanical ants are frantically crawling around just beneath the surface of your skin. You blink in confusion, lowering the cup to the table and trying to shake your arm slightly to get rid of the strange tingling, assuming you merely pinched a nerve. But the moment you bend the crease of your elbow to inspect your wrist, a faint, sickening, dry crunching sound echoes from deep inside your own arm, sounding horrifyingly similar to the noise of heavy leather boots slowly stepping down onto a pile of shattered glass. You let out a sudden, choked gasp, your lungs freezing in panic as you look down at your wrist. The familiar, comforting veins tracing the topography beneath your skin are actively transforming right in front of your eyes. The soft colors of life are rapidly pushed away, and instead, your blood vessels physically bulge outward, swelling against the underside of your skin as they turn a thick, cloudy, opaque white, catching the terrifying, unnatural glimmer of geometric crystals reflecting the fluorescent lights right beneath your skin. With every single rhythmic heartbeat, you can physically, viscerally feel tens of thousands of microscopic crystal edges simultaneously dragging against the sensitive inner linings of your vessels. You try to open your mouth to scream for help, but the moment your jaw muscles tense, the sugar heavily circulating through the incredibly dense capillary networks in your face crystallizes further, locking your expressions in place. The third stage of this systemic physiological collapse hits as fast and as ruthlessly as a storm. The sheer, overwhelming panic of your brain realizing what is happening causes your heart rate to skyrocket to a frantic 140 beats per minute. Your body is desperately trying to fight back, attempting to pump blood even faster to clear the blockages, entirely unaware that this panicked reaction is the exact mechanism that is accelerating the process. The rushing river of your blood now carries larger, increasingly interconnected crystal formations that press aggressively against the arterial walls. You collapse heavily onto the cold, hard, tiled floor of the restaurant, your knees giving out as the intense pressure completely severs your motor control. You do not dare to move because every microscopic movement physically snaps the rigid, interconnected glass crystals now densely filling your veins. The physical toll rapidly exceeds the absolute maximum threshold of what any living system is designed to endure. It wipes away all rational thought, leaving behind nothing but a pure, blinding pressure that consumes your entire universe. It feels exactly as though boiling, heavy static is violently surging through your entire circulatory system. You desperately want to scream, but even the simple act of pulling a deep breath of air into your chest becomes impossible. As your ribcage expands, the microcapillaries wrapping around the tiny air sacs in your lungs are instantly paralyzed by the rigid, inflexible pressure of the expanding sugar crystals. You cannot exhale. You can only choke on the sudden, terrifying lack of oxygen. And then, the final, most terrifying phase begins as you enter the void. You lie completely paralyzed on the floor, trapped exactly like a fossilized statue that is slowly deteriorating while somehow remaining entirely, painfully conscious. The ambient background noise of your normal life, the hum of the air conditioner, the distant chatter of oblivious people, the sound of traffic outside, has been entirely muted. You do not get the sweet, dark mercy of passing out immediately. The remaining liquid portion of your blood stubbornly tries to squeeze through the microscopic gaps in the massive crystal blockages, maintaining just enough of a pathetic, trickling oxygen supply to keep your brain agonizingly awake, forcing your consciousness to fully experience the heavy, crushing weight of your own crystallized body. Tears of pure frustration well up in your eyes, but the moment the salty water forms, it too reacts to the anomaly, crystallizing into sharp glass needles that lock your eyelids in place. There are no nuclear sirens wailing in the distance, no falling asteroids burning through the atmosphere. Human civilization across the entire globe simply ends with a quiet, internal crunch. Billions of people collapse simultaneously, at their dinner tables with their families, in crowded movie theaters, driving their cars, permanently locked inside their own paralyzed bodies by the exact same sweet, comforting liquid they craved saved every single day. A dead, frozen, glittering, and absolute silence falls over the entire world, leaving nothing but billions of crystalline statues on the ground. So I want you to pull yourself out of that dark, suffocating place and come back to reality, right to this very moment where you are perfectly safe. Look away from the screen for a second. Look down at your hands. Slowly move your fingers, flex your wrists, and truly, deeply feel the incredible, smooth, fluid miracle of the warm, liquid blood rushing endlessly and effortlessly beneath your skin without a single bit of resistance or pain. Tonight, walk into your kitchen, turn on the tap, and pour yourself a simple, plain glass of pure, cool water. As you drink it, feel how gently and smoothly it washes down your throat, how it perfectly hydrates and cleanses your body, blending into your bloodstream flawlessly, seamlessly, and peacefully. The next time you look at a brightly colored, heavily marketed bottle of soda, a massive milkshake, or a donut heavily glazed in thick sugar, do not just see the temporary artificial sweetness. Look deep into it and be profoundly, overwhelmingly grateful for the perfect, unbreakable chemical rules of this physical world. Be grateful for the universe's exact, specific melting points, the only invisible mathematical barrier preventing your own body from turning into a torturous, inescapable glass prison. Take a sip of water, take a deep breath of clean air, feel the softness of life flowing inside you. Have a safe, healthy, and peaceful night.